Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bowles Central. I was watching the PS5 reveal conference presser fake audience thingy the other day on the internet because I don't have much to do because I'm stuck in my house like everybody else in the globe because of coronavirus. Isn't that fun for everybody on the planet? Aren't you having fun yet? This isn't about coronavirus. This is about Sony PlayStation 5. That reveal was a unmitigated disaster. It was bad. It was bad pretty much on every level, unless you're like a super tech developer person yourself. In which case, if you're a game developer, you already have a dev kit for the PlayStation 5. You didn't need that. That wasn't for fans. That wasn't for people who are actually going to buy PlayStation 5. In case you didn't see it, a Sony rep gets up for a PlayStation reveal. That's PlayStation, the home video game entertainment console where you have fun. PlayStation. And he proceeded to give a really boring PowerPoint presentation about all the on-paper specs. They didn't show a single game. They didn't show what the console looks like. They didn't even show what the controller looks like. And guess what? The competition, Microsoft, I already know everything there is to know about Xbox Series X. I know everything. As early as late last year, I knew what it looked like. I know what the controller looks like. I know how the controller's different from the Xbox One controller. I know what games look like on it. I know that that there's tech demos out there that show me how much faster it loads than Xbox One. I know everything there is to know about Xbox One, and I couldn't tell you a damn thing about PS5. Number one, I'm sort of a tech guy. I'm not an in-depth tech guy. I don't get obsessed over figures and processor teraflops, all that crap. I'm a gamer who likes video games and wants to know, how are the games going to play? What is a PS5 game going to play like? Sony, they didn't tell me. They didn't show me. Wait. I've got an old one for you. They told instead of showed what it was going to be like. It was a lot of tell and no show, and I am getting like flashbacks of the last console cycle, sort of. Where, do you remember this? Do you remember the E3? I think it was 2012 or 20. I think it was 2012. Microsoft came out and they were talking about Xbox One being this all-in-one media entertainment thing rather than just being like a dedicated game console. And they were talking about DRM. They were talking about always on the internet. They really pissed off fans with that. And then Sony, like a couple hours later, or was it the next night? I forget. They came out and were like, we make game consoles for gamers, so why don't you buy a PlayStation, because you'll be a lot happier than if you buy an Xbox. That's kind of what's happening here. Xbox came out of the gate with a great series of reveals, one thing after another, telling me what it looks like, telling me what it plays like, showing me what the games look like, showing me the controller, showing me all the stuff that I as a gamer care about. And Sony was silent for months and months and months, and then they hit us with this nonsense.
It only takes a couple of % reduction in frequency, so I'd expect any downclocking to be pretty minor. All things considered, the change to a variable frequency approach will show significant gains for PlayStation 5. The final of our 3 principles was about finding new games.
So, I really do think that PlayStation 5 is going to flop. Is it going to flop in the sense that nobody will buy it? No, because I'll probably buy it, because I've owned every single game console since the NES, I think. Eventually, I've picked up every single one. I'm a huge gamer. I'm a huge console gamer, and that's what I like. I am surely probably going to buy a PS5, but I also bought an Xbox One, even though, no one else really did. And by the way, Microsoft totally lost this generation because of that one mistake 7 years ago, 8 years ago. The thing about Xbox One is that right now, at this late stage in this generation, it is still totally outsold by PlayStation, but in my opinion, it's a better console than the PlayStation 4. That's kind of a controversial thing to say right there. But, I have both, and I play my Xbox all the time just because the value added by the services, Game Pass, the fact that I can game with my wife, who also has an Xbox One, without owning two copies of a single game. Things like that have endeared Xbox One to me over the years, but it doesn't mean that they were successful, and they knew that going into this coming generation. And Sony has just totally lost the thread, and so I predict that PlayStation 5 is going to flop, and that the Xbox Series X or whatever, I don't know, I guess we're in like mid-cycle half releases, so there'll probably be like an Xbox Series X One, Series X 360 box, Series One X 360 in 3 years. Maybe Sony will have a chance to catch up at that point. But look, like a boring PowerPoint presentation that tells me on paper, number one, that the console is not as powerful as the Series X, and number two, basically spent the whole time making excuses for why on paper, yeah, it looks bad, but it's not all about the paper, even though they didn't even bother to show me any games. Total disaster, total nightmare. Sony really ought to have a gut check about this one. I'm sitting here talking about this and I'm thinking, do game consoles matter right now? Because there's like all this fear and all this paranoia and all this sickness and all this death. Ugh. I don't know, man. It's a weird world. It's a weird world, and we're just kind of caught up in it. But I guess I'm talking about it. I guess I'm talking about the PlayStation today. So that is my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Do you think the Sony PlayStation 5 is going to be a dud? Do you think the Xbox Series X is not all it's cracked up to be? I mean, I know it's like a giant monolith gravestone of a console that won't fit in anybody's apartment. You'll have to rent the apartment next door to stick it in there and then run like a snake HDMI cable to your television. It's huge. But yeah, that's how I feel. Like I said, I am gonna own both consoles eventually, but at this point, I don't know that I'm gonna pre-order PS5, and I know I'm gonna pre-order Xbox Series X. They lost an immediate like launch sale, and I'm very very loyal to both companies and to Nintendo. I just love games. I don't care who makes it. Um, you know, that's how I feel. Eventually, I'll own a PS5. But I don't think I'm going to own one right away. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a total disaster. No one's going to buy this thing. That's how I feel. Like and subscribe. Tell me I'm wrong. Buy me a vaccine for my chlamydia. I don't have chlamydia. I don't know why I said that. I really don't. I don't have any STDs. I don't have any illnesses except for goddamn sexiness. Bye. Is sexiness a disease? Hey everybody, do me a favor. This is my latest novel, God's Body, Book 1, The Fall. It's a horror apocalypse sort of thingy with some humor and some comic bookiness and some religion. Yeah, everybody loves religion, especially when it's giant God and giant Satan and like the fallout that happens after they've killed each other. I don't know if I'm really selling this to you right. Here, let me try this. You get $1,000,000 if you buy this book. I promise. I promise. I promise. I don't promise. I don't have anywhere close to that much. But you'll like the book.